Hey guys, this is Jenna from Hill Valley Farm, and I wanted to go ahead and do a quick video because this week we finally got our final milk test results back and were awarded milk stars from the American Dairy Goat Association. So the first thing I wanted to say is milk test. The one that we did this year was called the Owner Sample 40. That meant that it had to be done by the owner once a month. That's typically how it fell. And within that period of time, and typically there's a window of time you have to do a verification test, but this year they just didn't really care because of COVID, as long as you just did one. And so we did our verification test the end of July this year, and it was still about within the window that you would typically do one. And that means someone had to come to the farm and actually just be a witness and look at my weights and make sure everything we were doing correctly. And also measure the does because they're Nigerian dwarfs and they have to fall under a certain height. And so we had to do a height measurement, and she had to check their tattoos, and they each had to have their name and their index number on the tag on their collars. So we did all that, and it was a lot of work. We actually ended up milking. Elfwin was the first one to kid at the end of February last year. She kidded, I think it was February 21st, because it was the day before my son's birthday. She kidded at February 21st. We milked twice a day from February until I think it was the end of October, mid-October. And then we went to once a day milkings for November, and then we dried them off the end of November into December. And so, I'm going to go through all of the individual does numbers, but I have the dough sheets. And so every single doe that's on milk test gets a dough sheet, and it has all of their information, the test day data, all at the bottom here. For every single test, it has all the data. And then at the top, in the kind of the center, it says the complete lactation numbers, and that's what we're going by when they are awarded the milk stars. It depends on their age and how many days and how much milk. So it goes like the pounds of milk, the butter fat of the milk, of what's in the milk, and then the protein that's in the milk, and it's collectively. And so it again depends on their age, and so every doe is different. Ours are typically we did a lot of the older does, and so they are the over 5 years. And so that kind of made it easy for me just to know what we were striving for with them. The ones that are different in our herd are Lily, which is, her name is Godiva on her registration papers. So her name on the milk test is Godiva. So Godiva is different because she's younger, and Lila is different because she is the youngest. She is under 2. So with that said, just here's all the numbers. Here we have Elfwin, and she is a 3-star M, which means her dam and grand dam both have their milk stars. She was 287 days in milk. She had 618 milk pounds. Butter fat was 27, and protein was 26. Here we have Rolling Meadows BB Godiva, 2-star M, which means her dam got her milk star. She's 264 days in milk. She got a milk pounds of 686, 37 pounds of butter fat, and 29 pounds of protein. And that's Godiva. And here we have Corey's Fancy Tea Irma, 2-star M. She was 261 days in milk. Her milk pounds were 790. Her butter fat was 45 pounds, and her protein was 32 pounds. With all 3 of those, she earned her AR star in all 3 categories: the milk pounds, the butter fat pounds, and the protein. It's just important to know that butter fat, you want a higher butter fat than protein. Here we have Corey's Fancy in Mayflower. She was 256 days in milk. She had 628 pounds of milk. Her butterfat was 34 pounds and her protein was 25. Therefore, she is a 1-star M because she's the first in her generational line to obtain a milk star. And she did this at the age of 7 years and 9 months when she freshened. Also, something to add, she earned her star in 2 categories, the butterfat and the protein. Here we have the Hill Valley Z Lila Grace 3-star M. She was 247 days in milk. She had 565 pounds of milk. She also had 32 pounds of butterfat and her protein was 24. She earned her milk star in 2 categories, which is the butterfat and the protein. We're very excited about this girl because she's the first doe born on our farm and the first doe with our farm name to earn her milk star. And she did all this as a first freshener. Okay, so now that you see all the numbers, I wanted to say a little bit about milk test. We are literally 2 weeks away today from our first due date. So as soon as Coco, that's who is due, but also I'm thinking Karma will be due around the same time. Karma was the one we weren't sure about. We never really saw her be bred, but her blood test result was she's pregnant, and she is very pregnant. So anyways, either Karma or Coco, whoever goes first, you can start doing a milk test 4 days after they're 4 days fresh, which means 4 days after they have kids. So I've got it all set up. We have actually switched labs. We will be using the Washington DHIA lab this time. There were some issues that I felt with our other one, so I've decided. I've just had a lot of feedback about Washington, and it's been nothing but great. So I've talked to Kathy there, and we are getting all set up. We've sent in our tests. We've sent in all of our things to get switched over. And so now what they'll do is send us vials. And so we will have the vials for our first test. And I want to start right away because you have to have, one thing I should add, we went for the AR star this year. And what that means is you had to do a minimum of, the 8 tests and 240 days in milk. The most you could do is 305 days. So after you get over the 240 days, and if your does have reached the numbers that they need to obtain their stars, then you can be done. And then once the numbers go in and they see that these does have been over 240 days, that means they get their AR star. AR is Advanced Registry. And again, there's 3 components to this: the weight of the milk, the butterfat in the milk, and the protein in the milk. So as you can see, Mayflower got her star with the butterfat and the protein, whereas Irma, her daughter, got her star in the weight, the butterfat, and the protein. That's a really big deal that Irma was able to get her AR star in all 3 categories. That's a humongous deal. Same with Godiva. She was able to get her weight, her butterfat, and her protein as well, even, with her age. And so it does go by, it matters with the age. We were so excited that every single one of them got their milk star. I thought it was possible, but you just don't know until you really get into it and watch the numbers come in. So that was really exciting. So I'm excited to do it again this year. I don't know that I'm really going to strive for that AR star just because of family stuff and, we want to take a vacation and stuff like that, because this is a very big commitment. And it was easy this year because of COVID and the quarantine, and we just didn't do the vacation thing, So, there's other things we would like to do. And I was really dead set on doing this because, like, again, I said, these are a lot of our older does, especially Mayflower. She deserved the AR star. She will never be pushed like that again. She will just, I'll milk her and that'll be that with May. She's earned her right to kind of chill out for a while. So, anyways, with that said, they're all dried, and these are dry dough sheets. That's the other thing. And once you have dry dough sheets, that's when you send them in to ADGA. There are several other ways you can do milk tests. This is just the one that we chose that was, good for us. It's not very clear, the instructions on milk test. It's not easy to get started. I'm a registered nurse, and I went through nursing school and took boards, and this is one of the harder things I've ever tried to do, just because of all the stipulations and the rules and things that you really don't know when you're first getting started. So I think what I'm considering is later on doing a paid course and teaching how to do a milk test, because it's really not that hard once you get started, but it's understanding what you're looking at. So I think that was very important for us, and to realize what we really have. And it's impressive, some of the numbers that we got this year. And so I'm excited to see what our first fresheners will do this year. I was really excited about Lila. I had no doubt that Lila would get her milk star just because of her mother. And keep in mind, with Mayflower is a 1-star M, Irma is a 2-star M, Lila is a 3-star M. It's generational. So Lila is the 3rd generation in Mayflower's line. So that's how that works. So anyways, I hope that all makes sense. And I hope that this helps you. And if you're considering doing milk tests, like I said, it's really not that hard. It's just the getting going and getting started, and figuring out what you need to be successful. So with that said, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.